Zoos are known to be fun places loved by people of all ages. Visiting a zoo allows you to see animals from all around the world in just one place. Zoos also provide plenty of education for people who want to learn more about animals. Although many zoos save animals and help endangered species, some can also be places of torture for these animals. Too many different animals suffer both physically and mentally when they're kept in poorly managed zoos. They even experience mental illnesses similar to humans. For some of these places, their only concern is making money, not taking care of the animals. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 zoo discoveries. Bronx Zoo's most dangerous animal. In 1963, the Bronx Zoo in New York opened an exhibit called The Most Dangerous Animal in the World. The exhibit was located at the Great Apes House between the mountain gorillas and the orangutans. Visitors could see the name of the exhibit above what appears to be a window with bars. However, instead of a caged animal like one would expect to see, they would see their own reflection behind the bars. The description below the mirror explained how the animal visitors saw was increasing in numbers rapidly, and it had the ability to kill off any other type of animal, even entire species of animals. In fact, this animal had already done so with several species of animals. It went on to explain how this animal could even destroy all life on Earth. The purpose of this exhibit was to show people how powerful mankind was, and how dangerous they could be. Humans have full control over other animals and the whole planet. What's worse is that humans are constantly in a power struggle with each other as well. This exhibit was meant to remind people that humans are literally destroying other species and their homes. To keep this fact in people's mind, the zoo also posted signs in other areas as well, warning people that in the next 20 years there could be no more wildlife left in the world. The ultimate goal of this exhibit was to move people to action and to encourage them to support wildlife conservation. Deforestation and the destruction of habitats have been an unfortunate trend in the history of humanity. This destruction takes natural homes away from animals, and therefore destroys the animals themselves as well. Humans pollute animal habitats, destroy them to build more homes and businesses, and illegally kill animals. This exhibit made news all over the world and opened people's eyes to the power they had and the difference they could make. It allowed people to reflect on the impact they had and the bigger impacts they could make in the future if they worked to make changes in the world. Fortunately, many endangered species can be found at the Bronx Zoo, and many animals are born every year. They've always made it a goal to increase the number of endangered species and return them back to their natural habitats, but this wouldn't be possible if their natural habitats were gone. They realised it would take the support of as many people as possible to save these animals and their homes. Honey the dolphin. In 2005, a bottlenose dolphin called Honey was captured by hunters in Japan. She was finally sent to the Inubasaki Marine Park, where she spent the rest of her life. She was brought there with a group of other dolphins, and they spent their time being trained and performing shows for guests. 12 years later, however, she was the only one left from the group. She soon became known as the world's loneliest dolphin. In 2018, the marine park closed for good because of a decline in visitors, and the owners disappeared, supposedly to hide from predators. Honey was left alone in the park, along with a number of penguins, fish, and reptiles. Employees were instructed to continue feeding the animals enough to keep them alive, but they didn't continue keeping the tanks clean or caring for them properly. The park never made any efforts to move these animals to a facility that could be better for them. While living in the oceans, dolphins are able to swim great distances every day with a whole family of other dolphins. They're very playful and extremely social, and they enjoy exploring together. Unfortunately, Honey was taken from this life, and instead could only swim around the same tank by herself day after day. Some activists were able to observe her for several hours one day. They reported that in a span of 2 hours, she barely moved 10 feet. She simply floated and let the water move her around. They noticed she was performing actions that were repetitive and compulsive, which showed how depressed she was getting from living alone in captivity all those years. The government wouldn't take action and find care for the animals that had been abandoned. Local activists managed to take pictures of Honey in her tank, which was now considered too dirty to live in for any animal, but they were still unable to get the authorities to do something. Many described the conditions the animals were left in as increasingly miserable and life-threatening. News of Honey the dolphin went viral on social media. Users were outraged at the way the aquarium owners had treated Honey and begged Thai authorities to help save Honey. One hotel resort even offered to give the animals a new home, but nothing ever came from these efforts. The International Marine Mammal Project got in touch with the World Association of Zoos and Aquariums. The association had already been made aware of the animals, but because the owners were gone, they weren't allowed to take them. An organisation called the Dolphin Project also attempted to rescue Honey and the other animals several times. They found out the aquarium had been sold in 2019, and thus Honey was sold with it. The Dolphin Rescue tried once again to buy Honey so they could rehome her to a better and safer place, but these attempts came to a halt when they realised Honey likely wouldn't survive much longer. Honey died on March 29, 2020, alone in her cage. Dolphins are held in captivity in aquariums all over the world. They have no room to explore and are kept away from their families and are quickly becoming depressed because of it. The Dolphin Project has discovered many dolphins in similar situations to Honey. They're able to rescue and release some of the dolphins back into the ocean, but not all of them are this fortunate. Honey's story gained attention and support from people all around the world, and even sparked people to seek changes in Japan for these animals. Honey has now become the face of dolphin captivity. Glue Hom. Glue Hom is one of the 6 elephants that had been living at a crocodile farm and zoo in Thailand. While living at this farm, his owners trained him to perform tricks for paying tourists, but they kept him chained to a pole. His right leg began to hang limp, so he couldn't put any weight on it, and he had wounds all over his body from lying on the ground so often. Glue Hom was injured both physically and mentally from his time at the crocodile farm. National Geographic learned about the elephant and a petition spread around so they could help him. Even though this was signed by more than 70,000 people, his owner still had to agree to let him go. But this elephant was the worst case they had ever seen, so they all knew they couldn't give up. After many negotiations, several organisations were able to join together to rescue Glue Hom. He arrived at the Elephant Nature Park in northern Thailand in 2019. He didn't mind all the new people around him, and they were glad to learn he hadn't lost his appetite. He was checked by a vet and given anti-inflammatory and pain medications for his leg. The vet also treated the wounds that were able to be treated. After receiving a balanced diet and proper rest, his energy increased and he learned to enjoy his new home. After a month, his leg was almost completely healed, other than having a stiff joint, but his back legs were still weak. He was also eating well and getting back to a healthy weight. He's kept isolated from other elephants due to his lack of social skills. When he was introduced to other elephants, he avoided them, which likely stems from the fact he was always kept alone at the crocodile farm. However, they still hope he'll be able to live among the other elephants in the future. For years he had been exploited and used to earn money. Unfortunately, this treatment of elephants isn't unusual practice. Hundreds of elephants suffer all the time because of the wildlife tourism industry, and so it will take a great deal of work to rescue them and make real changes to prevent any more from suffering the same way. So what do you make of these zoo discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and help us by growing this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.